Hi, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Early Bird. It's time once again to look at last night's playoff games, the surprises and non-surprises coming up. Well, once again, this playoffs, I think the theme of this playoffs, like it is every playoffs, folks, is goaltending. I mean, the goaltending this year, I've lost track how many teams are not going to be, in the next round, are we going to be seeing all the number 2 goalies? Who knows at this point? I mean, it's just been nuts. If anybody that's just been very quiet there and getting solid goaltending, really, we're not talking much about is Calgary-Dallas. I mean, that series seems to be very quiet. There's no complaints there, but everywhere else has gone nuts. And of course, the Rangers, I mean, I can't see Georgiev coming in this playoffs. I just can't. I mean, I can't see Shesterkin having an off night. So we'll have to see how that all pans out. Let's take a look at the games yesterday, and we'll get a move on with this video. I'm going to throw an extra clip in here. I should have been doing this right from the beginning, but live and learn, right? I mean, this is the first time me doing this segment on the channel, so here we go. And there's yesterday's scores. 4-2 Bruins. They get back into the series. 5-2 for the Leafs in Tampa. Huge win. A huge playoff win for the Toronto Maple Leafs, without a doubt, folks, without a doubt. Because I think the majority of the hockey world was doubting Toronto again. And again, take a look at that. Minnesota make a statement in St. Louis by winning 5-1. And Edmonton make an even bigger statement in Los Angeles, trashing the Kings 8-2. But I will say one thing about that Kings game. That Kings team didn't stop. They continued to try. They really did. Even though the Oilers got all those late goals, they continued to try. But, when the game's half over, you're down 5-0. Not much you can do except just try, or full tent and get really hammered, and they still got hammered. So, this Oilers team, folks, this Oilers team, shades of the 91 Penguins, where the Penguins came out of nowhere and had this guy named Mario Lemieux, who it made sense won a cup eventually. I kind of got that feel with them over there with Connor McDavid. Anyway, it's early, I get it, but it wouldn't shock me if the Oilers just broke through and won a cup this year. It really wouldn't shock me. They've been my pick forever in Canada to win a cup. This wouldn't shock me. As the Canadian team, but not just as the team, the Western team. I've been for years thinking Edmonton's going to break through. This could be the year. We'll see. Okay, first game of the show will be Carolina at Boston. Here we go. Bruins top Hurricanes in Game 3, trail Eastern first round series. They might trail it, but the under the headline, Swayman makes 25 saves to win first playoff start. Marchand has 3 points for Boston. And let's take a look at the numbers. Okay, the shots in the game, you can see very close, 28-27. The face-offs, Boston were very good there, 57% to 43. Hurricanes 0 for 5 on the power play. The Bruins 2 for 5. Hits 40 for Carolina, 33 for the Bruins. The blocks were 12 for Carolina, 29 for the Bruins. And the giveaways, 12 Carolina, 7 for Boston. And we'll look at the shots. First period, 11-8 for Carolina. Second period, 13-8 for Boston. And in the third frame, 8-7 for Carolina. And as you see, once again, Carolina had 27, the Bruins had 28. I think the Bruins, folks, just in time, put Swayman in nets. Just in time. I think Carolina would have won this game yesterday if Ullmark would have been playing. I do. Ullmark, I just don't have much faith in. I'm sorry, even the Sabres fans, I just never did. I just really think Swayman was a smart move. Ullmark was appearing to be crumbling under pressure in Game 2, and I think this is a very smart move by the Bruins, and I highly expect we won't see Ullmark the rest of this round anyway, unless the Bruins get through it. And the truth is, if the Bruins get through it, it's kind of like the Sabres fans might relate to Cam Ward and Gerber back in 06. Remember when Gerber, I wanted Gerber to be in nets for that series, and then they brought in Cam Ward, who I was worried about. I didn't like the fact I seen this young kid really do really well, and he came in and he basically won the series after that for Carolina, because if Gerber would have been in nets, and it's kind of the feel I have with the Allmark Swayman thing in Boston, if call it that, you know. But I like Swayman. I think he's a good young goalie. I really do. Okay, let's go on next to Toronto at Tampa. Bit of a surprise here. Here we go. Campbell, Maple Leafs hold off Lightning in Game 3 of Eastern first round. He makes 32 saves. And without a doubt, he was the story in this game. He was brilliant in this game. He really was. I thought at certain points he refused to let them have momentum. Okay, let's look at the numbers. And you see again, tight shots, 36-34 for the Leafs, 51-49 on the faceoffs, very close there. 1 for 5 on the power play. And Tampa flip it, and they get a goal too, 1 for 3. The hits, Toronto's up to the task so far, folks. 36 hits, and Tampa had 41. That's one of the worst, excuse me, guys. That's one of the worst hitting teams, Toronto, in the league, against one of the best in Tampa. The blocks, 17 for Toronto, 9 for Tampa, 4 giveaways apiece. And let's break the shots down. 15-9 in the first for the Leafs, 14-11 for the Leafs in the second, and Tampa really turned it on in the third. A lot more than that looks like. It was 14-7 for Tampa in that frame. So final for the game, very close, 36-34. But I thought Campbell played just so good in this one. I did. He made some, but like just that on that power play where I was sure Stamkos had that goal and brilliant save. Toronto, if they're going to get goaltending like that, folks, are potentially going to go deep. But Toronto, this is the era, I've said it before on the channel, I believe this is going to be the most disappointing era in Toronto Maple Leafs history. Unless, and now I'll say unless, they get through this series and make a deep run. Because Toronto look like the type of team that if they can get through this series and start to go deep, they'll only get stronger as they go along. That's my feel with the Maple Leafs, guys. And, you know, and you can only choke for so long, I believe. And when you break through, you really break through. So we'll see if that's what happens with the Leafs this year. Let's go out west. Here we go. See you, Minnesota at St. Louis. Fleury, Wild, top Blues in Game 3, take lead in Western first round series. All right, let's continue on to the numbers. I don't always read all the headlines. You guys seen the games already. All right, the Wild, 33 shots. The Blues had 30. Edge for face-offs go to the Wild, 51-49. And power play, they were 0 for 4. The Blues are 1 for 3. And the hits, a little alarming there. You know, the Wild only had 17 hits in the game. But when you jump up early, that kind of sets the tone. And then the Blues had 33 hits. Blocks, 18 for the Wild, 11 for the Blues. And giveaways, 5 for the Wild, 7 for the Blues. We'll look at the shots here. Blues in the first period, 14-12. Doesn't really tell the tale, not really. I mean, the way Minnesota jumped up early on them. And then second period, 10-8 for Minnesota. They settled the game down and don't let in too many shots by the Blues after, if you notice. They played their game that way. Closed it down 10-8. And in the third period, 11-8. And for the game, 33-30. This is one of those series I called Mini to win it in 5. Right now, the feeling I get in this is this could go Game 7 in overtime. It could. Because I figure one of these series is going to go to Game 7 in overtime. One of these first rounds is going to go to Game 7 in overtime. And I'm just trying to figure out who. This could be it here, and it could also be the next series here. And you know what? It's going to be up in the air, guys. I just want to check something here while I'm looking. Yeah, let me just check the... You know, St. Louis goaltending's an issue right now. I'm going to be very curious to see how that pans out because, you know, are they going to go with Husso? I don't know. I really don't know. Are they going to go with him next game? Probably not. You know, when you got a goalie that I thought should have won the Conn Smythe sitting on the bench, I think maybe it's time. Just my gut feeling anyway. All right, let's move on to the last game. The Oilers at LA. And this was quite a story. Here we go. Oilers chase quick, defeat Kings in Game 3. You see right there, Kane has a hat trick. And that, he was everywhere in this game, everywhere. Okay, let's look at the stats here. The Kings outshoot them 46-37. The Oilers on the faceoffs have the edge 52-48. They both flip a goal in the power play. Edmonton is 1 for 3. LA's 1 for 4. The hits in the game, Edmonton has 35. The Kings have 42. 20 blocks for the Oilers, 17 for the Kings. And giveaways, the Oilers had 10 and the Kings had 4. We'll look at the shots per period and take a look at that. LA in the first period, 19-7. Goaltending again, guys, goaltending. And then in the second period, the Oilers feed off that goaltending and they get 19 shots of their own, but the Kings still hit them with 15. Third period, 11-11, and as you see, 46-37 for the game. I can't remember the last time I seen a playoff game somebody get hammered like 8-2, and really the score doesn't tell the tale. I mean, the Oilers, yeah, well deserving. They looked better and everything they did, but that LA team didn't give up. I was watching that game, and I'll tell you, that Kings team just kept coming at them. I fully expect next game to go in overtime. I'll just put it right out there. I'm going to throw it out there. The Kings are going to win in overtime next game. That is an easy win for them to bounce back off of because when you lose 8-2, nothing went right. Nothing went right. Even though you tried and you played hard and you were hitting and you were doing, nothing went right on the ice. Credit to the Oilers, though, for that. They made that happen. They were just, if the Oilers continue this, okay, then they will win next game and they'll win it going away. And if the Oilers do that, folks, they're going deep this year. This Oilers team is a scary team when they get going. And everybody was talking about Calgary out west and Colorado, but what about the Oilers? Really, if the Oilers get that kind of goaltending from Smith the rest of the way, it's going to be hell to stop them with that offense they have. So that's just my take on those games, guys. I would look at the Carolina game like now the Bruins are back into it. They made a smart change, putting Swayman in nets. That gave them a fresh start, so to say, because I think if Allmark was in, they would have lost. I really do. And, you know, looking at the out west games, I would go with I should touch on the Leafs game. The Leafs now are trying to establish they're a for real playoff team. We know they went up 3-1 against Montreal last year. That's history. That doesn't mean nothing. They can only feed off that to not do that this year. This young Leafs team, young in areas, I should say. They're not a young team by any stretch, but I'm talking young when it comes to their solid core players, might have finally learned last year how not to continue blowing it. We'll see. But I think the Leafs really made a statement game yesterday. I would look at Minnesota like not much of a shocker there. Really, that's the thing with St. Louis. It's up in when there's a goaltending controversy before the playoffs, not during. When you have it before the playoffs, it's never usually a good thing. So we'll see what they do. I think Binnington will go in next game. I just do. The Oilers, I expect LA to fully bounce back next game and really make a statement that they're in this series and force it to overtime and win and make a series of it still. But I still got the Oilers in 6 either way. So just my gut feels. That's it, guys. Got to wake up. I got things to do today. Have a great day. And I'll see you, all you Sabres fans, tonight at some point with some video to pass the time as we all get jealous and watch all these playoff games. All right, guys, have a great day.